All right, I told you I would teach you how to spatchcock a chicken really quick, and here's the setup. I've got my mat and my knife, my landing zone, and my scrap bowl. And I'm going to walk you through in stages. These are the Cornish hens I'm going to be using. They're small little chickens. And after I walk you through the stages, I'll do the video so you can see it in live action. But they are smaller than my hand. They're about the size of a large pigeon. They're so cute. They're great for a per person meal. There's a top side or a breast side of the chicken, and then the underside, which is the back side. We're going to be working with the back side where the wings are attached. We're going to remove the spine, which is from the neck to the tail, simply by cutting down one side of the spine and then cutting down the other side of the spine, which will lay the chicken open flat for a more even heating surface when you're cooking. The spine is going to go into the scrap bowl for later use making stock, and then you're going to flip the chicken over and flatten it out. You can season the top where the skin is, you can season the underside where it comes in contact with the meat. Okay, I told you I was going to show you how to spatchcock a chicken, and in this instance, these are Cornish hens. I have my mat down, I have my knife, my kitchen shears, I have a spot to catch the scraps, which in this case is going to be the spine of the chicken that we're going to use to make stock later. And I have a landing zone over here, which is where we're going to put the chicken after it has been cut. There's two sides to a chicken. There's the breast, you've got legs and wings, but when you flip it over, you can see where the wings are attached here on the back. That's the back of the chicken, just like where your shoulder blades would be. And a spatchcock is really easy. You're going to cut right down the side from the neck to the tail of the spinal column, and you'll end up with a spinal column here. That's full of all sorts of good things to make stock out of. You can do this with a knife, which I usually do if I'm doing larger chickens, but for Cornish hens, kitchen shears work really well. You just slide it in right next. It cuts right through their tiny bones. I mean, they're the size of a large pigeon. I can hold this little thing in my hand. It's tiny. That's one side. Here's the other side. Done. Now what you get is a really even cooking surface. You can flip this over. You can press right here in the middle of the breastbone to flatten this out. You can turn the wings under so the tips don't burn. And you can season this however you like, sauce it however you like, but what I do with these is I throw them whole on the grill, 5 minutes per side, and they're done. At the end of the 5 minutes, I'll sauce them and let them go for a few more minutes. But with Cornish hens, because they're so small and because they're bone in, they're going to be really juicy. The white meat isn't going to be tough and stringy. The dark meat isn't going to be gamey and full of blood. And they just cook fast and even. Everybody gets a little bit of all the kinds of meat. You can even cut these in half so that you get a half of a chicken, even though they're smaller. So they're great for salads. They're good for cookouts. You can leave them whole and stuff them for Thanksgiving, all sorts of things. Have a good day.